The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Virtuosos Podcast. I'm your host, Jules Houston.
I'm Demond Crittner.
And I'm Damian Jolly.
Thank you guys for joining us once again. We're live. But first and foremost, I want to thank you guys just for being a part of the journey. Been a long time coming. Always want to go live. So now the fact that we're live, we can, be as open and as honest about it as we possibly can. There's no editing. There's no, cuts, nothing like that. We're going full force, unfiltered, uncut, whatever the case may be. But to start it off, our movie of the year, I think, Damien, for the most part, was Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer is now the highest grossing biopic ever. And we talked about it like 2 weeks ago. Like, it had a chance. And,
for sure.
And it actually ended up happening. I didn't think it could happen, but the fact that it did happen was pretty crazy.
No, yeah. I mean, so it beats out Bohemian Rhapsody. It makes over $912 million at the box office, which is, it makes it third highest grossing film of the year. Just behind Barbie and Super Mario.
Yeah.
Obviously. And, I'm pretty sure it's Nolan's biggest film behind maybe biggest film outside of Batman.
Yeah, I was about to say outside of Batman.
Outside of Batman's, at least, and that was like a big thing because remember when Nolan was a big guy that wanted to push, he didn't want movies going to streaming services. Mm-hmm. He made all these demands of the studios when he made Oppenheimer, and it's paid off. I mean, $912 million is much more than they could have expected.
Yeah.
And it's the second highest grossing R-rated film ever, behind
God.
Joker.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
beat out
actually
Deadpool 2. So, I mean, this movie probably blew everybody away. I don't think anybody expected this from, it's a 3-hour biopic about the guy that created the atomic bomb.
About nuclear
nuclear
physics. Like, what?
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't think anybody could have expected this, but, it just shows you what quality filmmaking can bring to the world, and there's been some pretty big names that have talked about the film. I know Denis Villeneuve made Dune. He was he said, this break brings the art back to the movies. Mm-hmm. And, it's about quality, not quantity.
Mm-hmm. So off of that, shout out Christopher Nolan, man. We made a whole episode about him. And, I watched a lot of his movies recently. And like you said, quality over quantity. Every day of the week. I mean, there's a lot of these studios and a lot of these directors that come out with a movie, want to come out with a movie every 2 years. Nolan's like every 4-year kind of guy, takes his time, puts out good product. And the fact that all his movies, I think it was like nothing's rated like less than like a 7.8. I think.
It's always,
that's OD. Like really, like I cannot believe that somebody could put out that good of content like for the last 2 decades, decades.
He like
plus.
me for real, bro.
Hey, just like you, actually. Actually, he got the idea from you, so it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool though.
But also 2 weeks ago, we talked about the Florida documentary, and we were talking about how the football aspect was so cool. Documentary was, mixed reviews and whatnot. But let's be honest, the Deion Sanders documentary that's gonna come out. I
don't think
mean,
anybody's
come
ready
on,
for that, man.
Dude, the Colorado Buffaloes. I mean, who would have thought that 2 years ago even that Deion Sanders will be at Colorado producing some of the most exciting moments in football right now, with some of the most exciting players in college right now. I mean, like Caleb Williams, it was all supposed to be about Caleb Williams coming into the season. I've heard nothing about Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing about Drake May. That's all I see. That's all I see. It's all I see. Flex the wrist, and that's all you got to do. The shadur, man. I mean, so Demond, like from what you see from Colorado, like what's stopping you from going there right now and playing quarterback?
I told my mom, like, yo, they offered me, but I turned it down.
You feel me? Like,
but they is lit right now. Like, I'm not even, like, college football be on all Saturday. You tune in, you might know a couple players. But, like, I'm, like, literally invested. Like, they should get that 10 o'clock ESPN slot every time the rest of the year.
Nah, it's kind of late for me, man.
Unfortunately, it is.
And, Travis Hunter is hurt. He going to miss a few weeks, but I still feel like they must see TV every week.
Every week.
Every week.
And how big it was this last week. I mean, Colorado State, who cared about Colorado State? Even as much as anybody cared about Colorado. Like, literally 2 months ago, nobody cared about this matchup, probably. And it probably wasn't get the ESPN countdown spot. They had Pat McAfee, The Rock, I think Offset was there.
Kawhi Leonard was just there, too.
Like, all these huge...
He don't even show up to the Clippers
Dude,
games.
right? You don't even go to the
Show it to
Clippers
his
games.
job,
You
but-
don't go to the Buffalo's games, though. I mean, it's crazy because, like, they got all these huge stars, nowadays that are coming about and actually coming to Colorado to watch Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh Sanders. It's crazy how many names they have now compared to what they had a year ago. And they had people leave. In April, they had 7, 8 recruits, 4-star and up leaving.
Yep.
That doesn't look good on them. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to play for Deion Sanders. You don't want to play for the most hyped school.
No, yeah,
I don't know if I want you at my school anymore. You clearly got a conflict of interest within yourself. So I'll be the first one to say, for me, I was wrong about Deion. I thought that he made a wrong decision to go to Colorado. I thought it wasn't the right spot. I thought he was going to wait for Florida State. And a lot of people are so worried about him going to NFL. I don't think he will.
Yeah, I don't
Nothing.
think he will.
You got to think about it like this. Urban Meyer went to Jacksonville. Nobody cared about him. And that was one of the biggest college coaches ever. How many college coaches come in and actually even produce? The odds of him doing that are slim to none. How much money he's making at Colorado, how much buzz he's creating around Colorado, he cannot do in Atlanta. He cannot do in Seattle or something like that randomly.
He crafting boys and turning them into men too.
Exactly.
NFL, locker rooms be dysfunctional.
He already came out and said that too, though.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be.
You could mold these young men into football players, and to work hard and really motivate them. You can't motivate somebody that's making $50 million a year.
You got to be self-motivated. I can't do nothing for you.
And he has more of a say of what's going on with recruitment and stuff. The front office might trade his quarterback away, his wide receiver, something like that. So more control in college.
But as hype as Colorado is, and I am buying into the hype. It's fun to watch them every week. These next few weeks are going to decide what their year looks like.
Oregon this week.
I don't even say these next few weeks. I try to say that the rest of the year isn't very easy for them. I would say they probably have 2 more games they're favorited in the rest of the year, and that's Arizona State and Stanford. They play right. Oregon, USC, UCLA,
what?
And Oregon State.
Dude, it's Shedeur Sanders versus Bo Nix, and it's Shedeur Sanders versus Caleb Williams.
And I know, and that's actually going to be an even bigger storyline because I know Deion came out and said, hey, Shedeur's not a number 2. Yeah. He's number 1. And, he's not going to come out in the draft if he's not going to be number 1. So it's just not going to happen. He wouldn't have been number 1 anyways.
He would have been number 2 either.
Yeah, so, he's not going to pass up Caleb Williams. He's not going to pass probably Drake May either. So, I do like Shedeur. I think Shedeur's talented. I think he'd be smart to just wait till next year anyways. Yeah. You'll probably be the best quarterback in college football.
Yeah, the odds are really in his favor for next year.
But, these next few weeks are really, really going to define how they look and just how good Deion is as a coach. You know what I'm saying? Their first few weeks have been really exciting, really good, but it's not going to get any easier.
Yeah. Yep. You mentioned it, the fact that he can play against 2 guys that are probably ranked ahead of him in the quarterback rankings. I would say that Bo Nix has came a long way. He does need another season, obviously, to prove it. But Caleb Williams speaks for himself. They literally come to next Patrick Mahomes. You can't get much better than that. You literally cannot.
Even the UCLA guy was the number 2 recruit in the nation this year. He was number 2 in the top 300. So UCLA has a 5-star blue chip prospect.
Chip Kelly's still there, right?
Yes, he is. So, he's not playing against, like I said, Stanford and Arizona State are the only pushovers. Oregon State's 3-0, UCLA 3-0, and I know they got a really good pass rusher in UCLA as well. He had, I think he had 3 sacks on 32 pass rush attempts in week 1 or something like that, or 2.5. So, they got players over at UCLA, man. Chip Kelly's built a good program. But they could probably beat Oregon. I'm not on the Bo Nix train. I never have been.
I love Bo Nix. I'm gonna be honest. I was huge on him at Auburn, and he was
he's definitely improved at Oregon. 100%. But it just kind of makes me wonder if it's just Oregon running a good football program as compared to Auburn. Yeah. Auburn hasn't been much in the last few years.
Yeah. To backpack off of the Colorado team, we gotta get into a Sunday night football game that we just seen. Damon, we can start off with you. You're on the wrong side of the 2. You got 2 losses. What's going on with? Well, for the most part, say how do you feel about that game at the end?
Typical since Brady left. Slow starts, penalties, bad O-line play. Only positives again, like I said from my first episode. We have our young guys coming in playing great. Christian Gonzalez played great. Ramondre had a better game. Mac Jones played good under pressure, despite, Micah Parsons and Bruce Smith and TJ Watt on the Dolphins D-line all of a sudden. But, it's just, again, slow starts. I don't think we have a point scored in the first quarter. We've had terrible losses, dating back to last year, terrible losses. And that one is, no exception, especially at the end of the game. Cole Strange is trying to win you a game. That's OD. But You know,
I'm trying
again,
to find a good image of that goal.
No. We don't need an image of that. You know
Trying to
we don't
find
need an
it
image
so
of that.
much.
I looked at that play like 100 times.
Like, you sure he should?
Yeah, I could, dove over and then Jaceki running in sand, like can't move.
I can't wait to talk about
You
that.
high stepping for it, bro. You nowhere near the end zone, but this just a slow start. We gotta start off quicker. Hopefully, we have a better week 3. We lose this week. Whew.
Who do
We got the
that?
Jets
Who
this
We
week.
got the Jets this week.
Ooh.
Whew.
You like the
Luckily
crazy
Zach
shit.
Wilson is a quarterback. But man,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the way I looked at it for the Patriots side, like you said, that slow start, and it doesn't get any worse than you have a good drive, you score, you get the ball back 2 plays, and Raheem Mostert's running up the gut.
oh my
Like
goodness.
that was a dagger to
And
me, even though the
Yeah.
game was still able to be won and whatnot. That was.
I think that set the tone for the
Yeah,
rest of the
and
game
then-
afterwards.
Christian Gonzalez gets the interception. He's back on the field in a minute and 10 seconds.
like
later.
that's awful.
3 and out early. I'm like, that's tough.
And that was a beautiful pick. I mean, he skied. For
He went
that.
straight vertical, man. That was a tough play to make. With your back to
Cut
the end
off.
zone.
He cut off Tyreek Hill perfectly, and I mean that's a bad ball by Tua. You're really
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
expect too many balls like that from Tua, but when you get them, you got to take them.
Mm,
So Damian, you're on the right side of 2-0. I mean, like,
Yeah,
come on. What's
it was a fun game for sure. I wish we could have stayed more consistent. That second half was tough for us. The Patriots made a lot of good adjustments. You expect that with Bill Belichick. He's a defensive mastermind. 3 safeties all game. He clearly respected Tua in the deep ball. Really made us pick apart the sidelines, which was interesting because Tua's always struggled with the sidelines. That was a big narrative last year that Tua cannot throw outside the numbers. He won't do it. He's a middle of the field guy. I think he had 1 completion over the middle of the field in that game against the Patriots.
Was the
I want to say that. And I want to say that was the one to. It was the RPO to Craycraft. I want to say.
okay? I'm about to say I know it was either Craycraft or Bear.
Yeah. So I mean I pretty much he was 21 of 30, and pretty much every pass is outside of the numbers. And it was smart to just see him be quicker with the ball. Tua holds the ball a lot of the times, and he was quick to take his check downs and really do that. But I don't even want to say that the offense was the highlight. Raheem Mostert also had a great game, 120 yards rushing. The defense is what I wanted to see.
defense,
After that
stepped up.
first week, I was so scared. I was like, maybe I wasn't giving up on them, but 36 points in your first game, 200 plus yards rushing. We completely shut that down this week. I know the Patriots' offensive line is hurt, and they're not dealing with all their full starters, but I think Ramondre Stevenson until the end averaged like 2.4 yards a carry.
Yeah, he played well in spurts. Like he had like a
In
good
spurts.
drive and he had a horrible drive.
Yeah,
Good drive,
and
horrible
we just
drive.
got a lot of penetration in the run game. Like Ezekiel Elliott was a non-factor.
Cut him. Dude is not good anymore. I don't
And-
know, like they're not even using him the way I thought they would. I mean, like Ramondre Stevenson, like I get like you want a goal line back. Ramondre Stevenson looks like a goal line
He's
back. So like,
230
what do you
pounds.
need? What do you need? Like he's bigger than Zeke. Like
Yeah.
what do you need Zeke for? You seem like you would go and get somebody that's a little bit shifty or a little bit more bounces the run to the outside and cut up and literally get 30 yards in one play.
Right.
Stevenson, he can wear you out 7-8 yard carries like back to back to back.
But the highlight for me, for sure, is definitely the Dolphins' pass rush.
Yeah,
the run, like I said, the run defense was good, but the pass rush was unbelievable. Bradley Chubb finally showed up. It was his first game as a Dolphin. Actually, because he hasn't done anything else in a Dolphins jersey. And that was without Jalen Phillips. Our best pass rusher was
Yeah.
not in the game. Andrew Van Ginkel turned into Micah Parsons.
It don't make sense.
Dude,
it was just a
Van
really,
Ginkel
really
the best week I've seen in a long
ever,
time.
man. It was
You gotta
super
Taysom
cool.
Hill-esque week, like
Yeah, seriously. So it was really cool. I hope we could do that. We got the Broncos this week, and I think we could go ahead and. I'm not saying it's an easy game. I think we could beat the Broncos, though.
Yeah, I think you guys beat them pretty convincingly. I mean, as much as it seemed like their game was close against Washington, they had a lead. They really honestly should have lost that game by 8. I mean, the Hail Mary was tipped 3 times.
Yeah.
You're not getting that against the Dolphins. You're probably not even going to get to score 33 points. The fact that they blew that lead is a testament not only to Sean Payton as a coach, who consistently has big leads or like big
can't hold 'em.
advantages, and he just cannot hold them and keeps teams in the game because he is suddenly now this huge discipline guy out of nowhere. Like he just no nonsense. All of a sudden, the team is 0-2. So all this no discipline going into Miami 0-2, and you're playing. I guess I would say bad football for the most part. Jerry Judy's was not involved as much as I expected. He has come out for injury. Cortland Sutton kind of disappeared this week. Got Brandon Johnson catching 2 touchdowns.
And Marvin Mims scoring 2
Like,
touchdowns.
come on now, you're not gonna get that. You got to rely on your stars if they have any stars. Because the way it looks like, it seems like these guys, we just overrated these guys aren't that good. Like Javonte Williams not good, Jerry Jeudy not that good. Greg Dulcich, he's hurt now. So
I'm just really excited to see what this Dolphins defense looks like with Jalen Ramsey back.
Dude, it's gonna be.
Xavier
All
Howard.
right.
Xavier Howard played really. Xavier Howard played really well, and he had a
Oh
pick.
my goodness, that throw that Mac. Oh my, yo, I look. I'm like,
I knew as soon as he threw that ball, it was a pick.
I'm looking at the jersey.
Because
I'm
Devontae
like-
Parker was not in bounds like the entire play.
I'm like,
Bro, he
getting mushed
got,
out
he got
of
pressed so bad. Oh
bro,
my
I
God.
thought we changed jerseys. I'm like, yo, why he caught that perfectly? Like he was on offense.
If we get Jalen Ramsey back like mid-October, like early November, man, it might get crazy because this.
Might.
Yeah, it's shit, man.
But to backpack off of that, NFL start a week. We started that last week, so we just pick a star for the week. So, Damien, we can start off with you.
All right, so mine is gonna be, and I feel bad saying it, Shaq Barrett. He went crazy against the Bears. I know that's not saying much.
Yeah.
But he had a sack, a pass deflection, a pick, and that was a pick six.
Yeah.
That's as much as you fill the stat line as much as you can as a defender doing that. The Buccaneers have probably shocked everybody so far. I don't think anybody expected them to be 2-0 early on. Baker Mayfield has played all right. And, Vita Vea, I think, had 2 sacks. They
destroyed them.
the
Like,
Bears.
the way I looked at it was that the Bears are not a quarterback away. They're a whole, dump the team.
Yeah.
If you were going to go get DJ Moore, the thing with that is that you got to be ready to compete because of, the theme was that these quarterbacks in their third year get their guy. Stephon Diggs going to Buffalo. We had A.J. Brown going to Philly. Those were huge moves. Now you got DJ Moore, third year for Justin Fields. What is he going to do? He looks horrible. Can't read a defense. Can't find open man. I think DJ Moore has 7 catches so far.
He had 6 catches. He just had a big game.
Did he have a big game?
6 catches, 104 yards.
I think week 1 he only had.
But what he had 2 catches in a week.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, 8 total catches on the year. I mean,
That's not good.
he's not playing. He's not playing like anyone expects him to. When you bring him in, you thought they'd be a better passing offense. They're not yet. Their run game horrible. Justin Fields can't even run. So Justin Fields can't run. Who is Khalil Herbert?
And they're not even running it enough either. Roshan Johnson's averaging 8 yards a carry. He's ran the ball 8 times. If you got a guy that can break free on runs, use him more. You have to use him more. I said Justin Fields has ran the ball. I think they said 12 times only so far, or it might be less than that.
He has a rush touchdown, but I think he only has 40 yards. Who would expect Justin Fields to have 40 yards?
But I watched a lot of breakdowns about that because everybody was talking about Justin Fields' performance, and it just does. He don't even look like the same player from last year. I don't know what Luke Getsy is building over there.
He building
It's
something.
just there's no culture there. It's just
they
just
gotta
football
find
every
something.
week.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears find a way to just ruin another quarterback. This seems to happen every single time they get somebody, and it's just I don't think they're going to get out of that slump anytime soon.
Oh, so for you, Damon, who you got for your starter?
I mean, he lost, right? I would say Christian Gonzalez. He was a high-rated cornerback just this week, but he lost, so I can't do him. So I'm gonna go DeAndre Swift.
He played great.
Definitely, the Vikings was itching back, and he kept coming forward, and that last play. Nah, I ain't say all that. I ain't say all that. Especially that last play hit on that Juki hit on Harrison Smith for the game.
Oh my God.
Goal line. Yeah, he went crazy.
Harrison Smith's 43 years old.
Especially, but you gotta think, bro, the culture. He in a Vikings uniform. He's automatically one of the greatest safeties. For franchise. But considering week 1 was what 4 days ago at the time of that game,
No,
and
for sure.
he didn't really do anything.
I'm
and
pretty sure he had 3 carries.
He had 3 carries, and he
He
come
did
out
not
there
do
and get
nothing.
150. Had 100 yards in the second half, so that'll probably be my player of the week.
For sure.
Since Gonzalez lost.
For me, Moranto, I need the camera on me right now.
Oh no!
I need the camera
Oh,
on
my
me
goodness.
for 5 minutes.
Oh boy, here we go.
I witnessed one of the worst games in my life on Monday. 26-22 sounds like a good game.
Unless you watched it.
And unless you watch the game, that was the longest first quarter I ever seen in my life. Not only did it take forever to get to the second quarter, but we get to the second quarter and we finally score whatever. But the path there, the tip pick, and literally one play.
Was the first play of the game?
First play of the game, Harrison Bryant drops the ball into a pick. That's when I knew this game was going to be awful. This game was going to be cursed. It's going to be horrible.
I don't even know if I blamed Harrison Bryant for that pick, man.
The person that is at fault for this game, it's only one person.
Oh.
Number 4. He does not get a name. He does not he does not get anything. If I'm the Browns, I am calling every woman that's part of his lawsuit. And I'm getting him off my team. He is the worst quarterback in the AFC right now. CJ Stroud. 30 for 47. He had 2 touchdowns with Nico Collins, Tank Dell. We got Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore. We got, unfortunately, Nick Chubb tore his knee up. Prayers to Nick Chubb, but we're done. If number 4 got to lead this offense, we're done. We're cooked. We're awful. We're finished. We are the worst team in the NFL now if number 4 is leading this team. He is off target every single play. This dude cannot complete back-to-back pass. I don't think he has, and since he's been in the Browns uniform.
And it's funny because they say that you can't forget how to play football, but
He forgot how to play football.
I would be shocked if he didn't forget how to play the sport.
He forgot how to play football.
People
bro.
say he rusty, but like, yo, he had a whole off season.
That's what
and
I'm
he
saying.
played
Stop
last
giving
year.
this man excuses. This man is awful. He had a full training camp. He got a whole new target. He had one of the best running backs in the league to end the season. He was so bad that Nick Chubb couldn't even score a touchdown because they did not respect the pass game anymore. Jacoby Brissett had this offense ranked 9th when he took over. We finished 20th. How do you finish 20th with the $230 million quarterback? Out of read off some numbers, 4-4 through 8 games. Dude can't win back-to-back games. 9 passing touchdowns. 9 passing touchdowns in 8 games for $230 million. 2 rush touchdowns, 7 picks. 24 lawsuits. We need to find the 25th lawsuit. We need to find the 25th lawsuit.
That's
this
Cam
man is
Newton.
awful.
That's Cam Newton Patriots numbers. Right
That's
there.
what I'm like, yo,
Oh,
we could find
Cam
a quarterback
Newton, man.
for
Let's go.
$1 million. For $1 million, we can find a quarterback. I could literally find a person off the street to throw the passes that Deshaun Watson was throwing. Everything is behind the receiver, off target. There is a play. Elijah Moore's running a curl, and Njoku's running this post, corner. I cannot believe how open this curl was. This dude threw it out of bounds, and Elijah Moore fell trying to get to it, but it's literally short and out of bounds, so he can't get to it. That was one of the defining plays that ended up being a field goal, and that's the difference between winning and losing a game. You got a first down to the 15, and then we end up kicking a 40-something yard field goal now. That is the worst performance I've seen. I mean, he cannot hit a wide receiver in the hand.
And it's so
he just
weird
can't do it.
because it's either an airmail out of bounds or it's a spike into the dirt.
Bro,
The short arm passes make me more mad than anything.
Oh
because,
my God, it was so bad.
Because as a Dolphins fan, Tua didn't start playing good till last year. His first 2 years in the league, he used to spike balls in the dirt all the time. No arm power in
you
there.
throwing it that hard to the
whatsoever.
ground. I know you can throw it that hard to a wide receiver.
Dude, I was like, there's no way. These balls are so short. Every time I watch Watson, bro, it's like it's always a short pass or he's airmailing it out of bounds. Like it looks like he's throwing it away.
Bro, that's
At
dude,
the end of the game,
one.
at the end of the
Oh my
game,
God.
the one to Donovan Peoples-Jones literally
my
looked like he threw it
God.
to the stands.
I'm like, yo, is that supposed to be a back shoulder or is that like what am I watching? And then the one he had, it was
the
to
Marquise
Elijah
Goodwin
Moore.
one.
First of all, we can't even say Elijah Moore had 8 targets in the game. The man literally had 2 catchable balls and he caught both of them. The man threw it so bad, it was literally out route. He threw that shit behind the bench. It went behind the bench. It hit the Gatorade thing. I'm like, this man is so bad. He cannot keep the ball in bounds throwing outside the numbers. So like now I have to look at number 4, play football for 15. Like, yo, I'm so glad I wear Sundays. Because I'm going to be honest. I'm going to that 49ers game and I might be sick. I might be sick.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
might
gonna
have
lie,
something
man.
coming up. I might have to fake something. I cannot go watch the 49ers destroy our team. We're going to be 1-4 by the time that game comes. We're going to lose to the Titans 100% sure. I am 100% sure we lost all control of this division. We were supposed to win this game. There's no way that our defense only allows, I think, 12 points. The Steelers defense got the easiest defensive touchdowns I've ever seen in my life. That drop pick and then that fumble 6. Nobody could possibly get close to TJ Watt on that.
Did anybody have Pittsburgh Steelers plus 2 touchdowns?
Dude,
Because you made bank.
Dude, it was my dad texted me. He was like, "Y'all like these Browns uniforms?" I'm like, "You gonna say that after the pick 6?"
Nah, word.
I don't care about it. You can be wearing all pitch black, no numbers on it. Go out there and play football because there is no way that you throw a pick 6 on the first play because Harrison Bryant, I mean, that's on him.
They said it was like a miscommunication, then Harrison Bryant just dropped the ball.
And not only do you drop the ball to Minka Fitzpatrick, Minka Fitzpatrick drops the ball into his player. So not only do you have a chance to tackle the Minka Fitzpatrick from even getting the ball, you had a chance to tackle the other guy. He stiff armed you to the literally out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Get off the field. Like, no. Number 4 got to go. Number 88 got to go. Man, I mean,
Stefanski's got to
Like
go.
Stefanski's done. I'm just done with this team. I'm done being hype about Deshaun Watson when he's gonna come back. He's done. He's cooked. He's finished. If he's on the team next year, we're not doing anything. To be honest, I'm being 100%.
It's honestly so crazy because the whole thing as a Dolphins fan was that Brian Flores wanted Deshaun Watson, and I'm almost kind of wondering if we just dodged the bullet.
Beyond that,
Because you got, I mean, that was like a big thing was that Watson did not want Tua, or not Watson. Flores did not want Tua. He wasn't happy with Tua to begin with. Watson was the guy. Watson wanted to come to Miami because he wants to play for Brian Flores. We go out there and we fire Brian Flores after 2 winning seasons.
Mm-hmm. And people
slandered the Dolphins. They're like, yeah, how do you fire this guy? He just led you out of 2 winning seasons. Like, it's your quarterback. You got to get him a better quarterback. Mike McDaniel
with no playoff games,
up.
by the way. Winning season with no playoff
yeah,
games.
so it doesn't even matter anyways. And then the one chance we had to make the playoffs, we got smoked by the Bills like 56 to like 21. So
that's how we got into the playoffs. Actually,
yeah. So it didn't even matter anyways. But the big thing was just like now it's you see what McDaniel did with Tua last year. He's off to a hot start now. Mm-hmm. It kind of just makes you think like, damn, maybe I am happy that it turned out the way it did because we could be dealing with Brian Flores and Deshaun Watson in Miami right now, and it probably be the worst team in the division because we wouldn't have Tyreek Hill. We wouldn't have Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
I don't know who you'd be throwing to.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have Teron Armstead.
Albert Wilson.
Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant.
Yeah, me. I might be out there with y'all. But to wrap it all up, I mean, like it can't get any worse than what it did for the Browns on Monday. Literally, the game is right there. 22-19. I mean, one of his best throws was a check down to Njoku. Njoku runs and fumbles the ball. Cut 85-2. Cut all of these guys. Cut everybody besides Nick Chubb. I'd rather Nick Chubb run with one leg than watch anybody else play football on this team.
Jerome Ford
played horrible besides Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb. They did their part. Everybody else, y'all done. Y'all cooked. Y'all something got to give. Go get Jacoby back. Go get Baker Mayfield back. Do something. This number 4 guy, whoever this is, whoever this clone is, whatever y'all did to this man, I don't know what y'all did. I know the traumatizing stuff about losing your career, no. Play football. That's all you got to do is play football. This man can't even play football. He's horrible. He is horrible. I can't deal with him no more. I'm over it. I'm over it, man. I'm over it. Just thinking about the game, bro. Some of those throws, bro.
I can't believe I'm the happiest fan of the 3 of us right now through 2 weeks.
I'll be honest. I expected that. I expected you to be happy because Tua healthy. You got the fastest coach in the NFL, I guess, because apparently he liked to outrun Cameron.
The funniest thing.
Book it.
Something
happened. I'm like, what's going on? Like,
Cameron was in his face. He was like, nah, you gotta watch this.
That was one of the funniest moments of the week. Something I could actually laugh at a night game because the other night games were awful. I mean, yeah. To transition to another sports, we watch almost every sport.
Wait. Are we doing Chris Evans first?
No, HBO.
Oh, my bad.
But HBO canceled winning time. This seems like a common theme for a lot of these streaming services. They put a lot of money, a lot of work into these shows, and they cancel them. Now, you told me to watch Winning Time about a month and a half ago. I watch it here and there whenever I got time. The characters are compelling. They're familiar with us. We know who Magic, Kareem, Pat Riley, Jerry West, Jerry Buss, Jeannie Buss, all of those. All these names, we know all of them. And they just canceled after 2 seasons. I haven't got to the final episode of season 2, but you told me that it ended on the Celtics winning the championship in a Lakers dynasty show. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about them canceling Winning Time?
This is probably the most disappointing thing that happened this year as far as movies and TV shows go. This was a show that I really kind of caught on to late. I didn't get to watch the first season when it first dropped. I didn't even know about it. I watched season 1 probably like a couple months before season 2 came out. And it became one of my favorite shows. Like I said, the characters are compelling. The actors play their characters very well. The guy that plays Magic carries that charisma just like Magic did. If you see the clips from back in the day, I would have thought that was Magic Johnson. I mean, and the casting director did a really great job because all these people look exactly how the players looked back in the day. Mm-hmm. Pat Riley, I love.
Pat Riley's like a creep. In the beginning.
Seriously. I think it's Adrian Brody that plays him, who's always really good. And it just sucks, man. Like I said, I know that this show was based on a book, and it's about like the rise of the Lakers dynasty. But how do you become a dynasty after two rings? Mm-hmm. You don't even let them get to the prime of their careers yet. We don't see the repeat. in 87 and 88. We don't see them beat the Celtics because they end it on a Celtics win. At the very, and it's just kind of annoying. I mean, even some of the other side stuff, the show starts off with Magic's AIDS diagnosis. It's the darkest thing ever to start with, and they start off with it. He goes to the car, and the driver's crying like he just got diagnosed. And, and then it cuts to the beginning, but we never get to go to see any of that, and then the finale, like, name drops Bill Laimbeer, so they're obviously bringing up, like, the Bad Boys coming up soon, and, you talk about all these other things, and the show ends on a slideshow. It's the worst possible ending ever. It literally ends on, like, it just tells you what happens to the Lakers for the rest of the thing. It's like, oh, they won in 85, they won in 87, 88, Kareem retires in 89 after becoming like the highest scoring player ever. Lasts for 43 years until LeBron breaks it. Like it's just all that's all it is. Like Magic gets AIDS in 91. His first phone call like Larry Bird. Like, it's just all like little snippets, which is cool. I guess it's cool to hear about it.
It was a movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The time the Celtics beat them.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like for it to end on, like I said, if it would have ended on like the 85 season, watching the Lakers win one more time, that would have made sense. And you don't even get to get into some of the better like players. Like they introduced Byron Scott in season 2. We get James Worthy in season 2.
Yeah, but
now Pat Riley has like Adrian Brody has like one of the best scenes in the entire show, in I think it's episode 5 or 6, where he becomes like Pat Riley, the head coach. He's tired of the Lakers like messing around and thinking they're the hot shit and all that. Punches the blackboard, like breaks his hand, but like they respect him now, and it just sucks to see it end like that. John C. Reilly was probably the highlight. He plays Dr. Buss, and it just sucks seeing shows end so early. You know what I'm saying? 2 seasons wasn't enough. This show could have went on for a long time. I mean, they could have went on until we got
they were positioning it to be like a 7-season show.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And it skips years. Like I said, it wasn't like year by year. Like season 1 was 79 and 80. Then by the time you get to the end of season 2, it's 84. So it's skipping time. We could have at least got to like, it would have been cool to see like them get to Kobe when Jerry West trades the center for Kobe.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought was going to happen.
You don't have to show Kobe, but be like, oh, there's this kid I want to trade for. And then it's like, okay, now that's the start of the second part of their dynasty. You know what I'm saying? We don't even get, what's his name from the Bulls? The coach, Phil Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we don't get any of that. You know what I'm saying? It just ends literally abruptly before the Lakers even become a dynasty. The whole thing is that the show literally ends with Boston saying, leave the dynasties to us. Red Auerbach says that on TV. Leave the dynasties to us. You guys are a flash in the pan. You won 2 titles. We've won 15. It's just stupid.
Yeah. It's a common theme though, for like streaming services in general. And when you get the news that they cancel one of your favorite shows, one of the shows that you love, like that's pain. Like it's nothing worse than that. Like,
I literally got the notification. I got all the Twitter notifications turned on for all that stuff, so I keep up to date with TV shows and movies. As soon as I saw that, man, it just killed me. It really ruined my night. And I'm like, when you watch a show and it ends on like a cliffhanger like that, and then you're like, oh, it also got canceled. Yeah. Well, now what? Like, I'm never gonna see another thing of the show again, And it's like I said, when it was a show that I was willing to tune into every Sunday, it wasn't like it got released all at once. Yeah. It's a weekly thing, so I'm taking time out of my week to be like, you know what, I want to really watch this when it comes out, and then to have it end on you. And plus, season 2 is only like 7 episodes. We didn't even get a whole 10 episodes. You know what I'm saying? 7 episodes.
Sick of that shit.
Like, come
I
on.
couldn't even imagine being a Lakers fan and it can't it ended.
And
like
that's what I say. Like I'm just a basketball fan. Like I said, I like the Thunder. It has nothing to do with the damn Lakers. Yeah. And like I said, so imagine if you're a diehard Lakers fan and you're like, oh, damn, I love the Lakers and they're going to show us our history, and it ends on you losing to your biggest rival.
Crazy.
That's awful.
Got Larry Bird looking like the greatest player to ever exist.
And that's crazy because, like I said, it's a common theme for streaming services in general, because you get these shows that come out with these great first seasons, like the season 1's great or whatever, and they peak in season 1. Season 2 is usually a letdown. That's almost across the board for every single show ever. Then you get to season 3, and it's like, all right, that's about when we about to cancel something. This actually picked up steam. There's other shows that don't. Like, for example, I want to say...
Bro, I got a really good show.
There was a few on Netflix that people were complaining about, like second, third seasons that were awful.
So there was 2 on Netflix that I know. Santa Clarita Diet, which was funny as hell, because it was like Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant. She basically becomes a zombie. She's like infected with a zombie virus, and like the whole thing. The other one was The Society. And this was one of these. It's like these high school kids. They go on a trip. Their trip gets cut short because of the weather. They come back. All the adults are gone. So they're stuck in a town with just teens to run the town. And it ends on a cliffhanger where like the parents are in the town too, but I don't know if it's like an alternate reality or something like that. And it just ends. You get no answers whatsoever. And it's such a compelling show. You're like, damn, like they could really go somewhere with this, and you never see anything about it ever again. Got canceled after 1 season.
Yeah, that's annoying. But I mean, like, you got to put the money in where the shows that are getting the most hype, and then they put the money in those shows, and it's still bad product.
That's what I'm saying. But they say the quality isn't even there though. Like when you keep bringing like The Witcher probably should end after Henry Cavill leaves.
Yeah,
It should not go to Liam Hemsworth. Like I'm not saying Liam Hemsworth is bad or anything, but Henry Cavill was such a big fan of the Witcher, and he wanted to play the character, but they basically said, no, well, we don't like your ideas. We want to do what we want to do. And he was like, well, if you're not following the source material, I don't care. I don't want to do it then. And so they went and replaced him. But like, how do you recast a guy going into 4 seasons? Like, it just don't make no damn sense. Like, especially when the quality fell off as hard as it did anyways. Like, Henry Cavill was, like, carrying that show by the time season 3 came out because season 1 was the best one. And then after that, they just could not find their rhythm with the Witcher.
Yeah,
which killed me.
That's annoying.
I couldn't even finish that current season.
No, yeah. I couldn't finish season 3.
I just, like, lost interest.
No.
And then New Cavill's leaving. So it's like, well, I'm leaving too.
Yeah, no, literally, that's exactly how it was for me. Where
Back
it's
to
like,
these shows, it's funny because I'm sitting over and thinking, like, I'm still mad back from when you guys probably weren't even born when Lost. I still have like 20 questions about Lost.
Yeah, Lost.
They never answered. And that, I mean, it was a good ending. I liked the end of that show, but there's like 20 questions they never answered.
That's honestly just as bad
what
sometimes.
happened? I want to know.
When shows get to their finales, they're like series finales, and there's big plot holes and questions that they just leave unanswered. Sometimes that's just as worse as a show getting canceled early on.
Yeah,
that means I spent 6, 7, 8 seasons with you, and I don't know what half these things meant.
Yeah.
So you don't even explain them because you're just jumping from story to story. Like Supernatural was kind of one of those shows. Supernatural went on for 15 seasons.
Yeah.
Watched every single one. So much stuff missing.
Yeah.
So it sucks, man.
They don't know what to cancel these days. I feel like they cancel all the wrong stuff. The interesting, compelling stuff that's new, unique, they cancel. And
It's just about popularity now. You can't even have an original idea and hope that it takes off because if you don't bring in millions of dollars with your first idea, it's cut.
yeah, you better bring in $20 million.
Yeah, literally, you better bring in like the most money we've ever seen, or it's over with. Like Netflix has been making, and I love Stranger Things, but Netflix is about to be on season 5 of Stranger Things. That actually came out in like 2015. It took you 10 years to make 5 seasons. These actors that were 13, 14 when the show came out are about to be 25.
Pushing 30.
That's what I'm saying, but they're still playing high schoolers. Like, come on, man. Like I said, like you're canceling these other shows, but you're not even speeding up the good shows to get them out quick enough. Like, why am I waiting 3 years between one season?
Yeah.
Just even with COVID, that makes no sense.
They pushing out you like it's nothing though.
No, yeah, like what?
I'm sick of you. Cancel you now. I don't want to see what happens. I'm
Season
done.
3 should have ended it.
You feel me? I'm sick of that. But that's their thing now, and it's like they got a new and unique idea with stuff like the quarterback. That's something they can't control. If they can't get the right compelling guys, there's only 32 starting quarterbacks in the league. You did 3 already. The odds you getting another 3 compelling quarterbacks.
I know Stafford is like the only one that said yes so far. Like from what I saw.
You're good luck. Like realistically, good luck because you look at it this way, and I love Stafford as a choice. Don't get me wrong, but the guys that are declining, guys like Justin Herbert, he's not the interest. He already said he's not. Joe Burrow, the world loved Joe Burrow. This is the perfect time to capitalize on that, and they aren't now because he doesn't want to be a part of it. They can't control that though. But
and
now
Tua
they
said no too.
Exactly, they got no choice. I mean, he's
And
boring though.
I said that would have been. Imagine if they would have got Tua, Herbert, and Burrow on there at the same time.
That's what I wanted them to do. I swore they were gonna do
that. Would have been like the perfect season too. You get 3 guys taken in the top 6 of the draft, all with different trajectories. It's like, come on, that would have been crazy.
You can't do the 2021 class because they all might not be.
You gotta do the backups. You gotta do the future backups.
I need Zach Wilson. I need Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields.
Oh my. You're going to see 4 passes thrown, and it's going to be Trey Lance warming up with Dak Prescott and hoodie. I'm telling you.
We talk about their college moments all season.
You like COVID. What did that mean to you, Trey Lance? Like, I mean, everything to me. It's the reason I went number 3. If they would have seen me play.
Oh, my God.
If they would have seen me play, I'd still be here. I'd still be in North Dakota State right now.
Speaking of being at college, did you see that kid from Miami? He's petitioning for his 8th collegiate season. 25 years old.
You need to
Tight
kick
end.
him out.
I don't know. I think his name is like Chris McCormick. He's petitioning right now to the NCAA to be like, hey, listen, I want 1 more year eligibility. He's already played 8 years. So he's tied right now for longest college career. So he plays 1 more year, be the longest tenured college player ever.
That's actually ridiculous.
They're like, what? You don't love college that much. Like, you better be getting an education because you ain't going pro.
You better have
you better be getting an education.
Doctor's degree. You better have a $1 million company set up on the side, bro.
That is insane, bro. 8 years in college, playing NCAA football.
I couldn't even do 2. So 8.
I couldn't do 2 back-to-back semesters. Hey, y'all ready to walk me out, kick me out? I'm not paying for this shit no more. I can't do it no more.
It's not like he's going pro to pay for that shit either.
He can't. He better. I'll tell you about if his doctor's degree lined up and a company ready to offer him a 6-figure contract to come there, be there.
Oh my goodness, man.
But with that being said, we got to go into one of the most popular characters for our generation. One of the most inspiring actors. I mean, love to see interviews with him and whatnot. But this recent one was really good. Damon, we talked about it. Chris Evans just had an interview. For the highlighted interview, what was it for you?
So it was 2 parts. One, obviously, Captain America, Marvel, and a big thing that he said was, that he didn't really appreciate it until it was over. And, you look at Marvel products, especially from 2013 to 2019, he said that it's a YouTube video you can look up, and he was talking about all his different roles. He was like, okay, it's going to be another Marvel movie next year. He didn't really appreciate the time he had, on set and stuff like that. And you compare it to the movie he was in, I think it was Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He said he loved it. Like, he stayed on set. He's like, oh, you guys need me for any other scenes? He stayed on set compared to the Avengers. He's on there. Oh, okay, we'll be here in another year or 2. It is what it is. So, like being a Marvel actor, like, is a gift and a curse. Dave Bautista talked about it, how he said, Drax is one of the funniest characters in the MCU, but that's not the role he wants to portray. Like, he wants to be more of a serious actor. So, being a Marvel actor, has his benefits and, barely any negatives, but I could see, coming from acting, the negatives.
I can see the negatives for sure.
And another thing I want to talk about, he was talking about his mental health a lot in the thing. And it's like me being a content creator, I like agree sometimes. Like, sometimes you just want to live your normal life. Like, you just want to be a normal human being. You just want to live your normal life. You just want to chill sometimes. Like, sometimes I don't want to stream or make content. I just want to chill. Like, I want my innocence back, my normal life. But, you don't have that choice. Like, Chris Evans don't have that choice. And he said, growing up, he was like, introverted. He only had a few friends, and his mom said, he's asking her deep questions. So basically he's like, yo, like, some days I just want to go back to, having my few friends, chilling and living my normal life. And he can't do that no more, because all the lights is on him. He played in so many different roles. So, I compare that to me, like, I'm not as big as Chris Evans. But,
you're right there, though.
You know what I mean? I'm there. I'm getting there. You know what I mean?
I think you like a year off.
Yeah, you're away from being a year away.
Yeah. But I seen how Falcon, how they did the Black Captain America. So I was like, I don't want to do that no more. He losing and stuff like that. But
you don't got the you don't got the serum. Like,
he got the serum, beat up. I don't think he got to win yet, but it's cool. But some days you want to live your normal life. You want to go out there and just, sometimes you feel like your innocence is taken away from you. Like, you got to be this superstar, Hollywood, stuff like that. And, I couldn't imagine that. Like, that's tough to live with, not being able to do the things you want to do because, paparazzi coming in, you getting attention and stuff like that. So
it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a double-edged sword, though, and I'm not blaming the actors, but don't you kind of expect that, though?
Especially
if you go into being
America.
an actor, and then you take a role where, like I said, his roles early on in his career were like, it was a lot of like comedy stuff. I know he did like a couple parody movies.
He did that 18 parody movie.
Yeah, he was like a high school one where he was like a jock, and then he was Fantastic Four. He was Human Torch, and then he did Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He was one of the boyfriends, and so he was a good actor at that point. But when you take something like this, like. So for him, that blew his career up. He was already an established actor, but now this made him one of the actors of Hollywood. He's playing Captain America, who was already a big comic book character. But that's kind of like, when you compare it to Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. had already had his career in Hollywood. Yep. And he was on his downward spiral at that point, with the alcohol and the drugs and all that. And Iron Man saved his career and made him into a star again. So, I feel like, if for as much as you want the normal life back, if you want to be successful in Hollywood, you have to know that comes with it. Yeah. And I'm not saying, like I said, that he shouldn't feel the way he does, because it does suck. I'm sure it does. Like I said, being out all day and everybody's focused on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't go anywhere. You can't go out to dinner. You can't leave your house. Somebody's taking pictures. Somebody wants to know what you're doing with your life. So I'm sure that takes a big toll on you. But at the same time, it's like, it's like a trade off.
And even with the being like a Marvel actor, some kids, even some teenagers grow up and Chris Evans is their Captain America. Like they don't know the comics, they don't know really the history behind it.
That's all they know.
Like
They
know Chris Evans is Captain America. Like they see Chris Evans, they probably don't even know his name. They're gonna call him Captain America. So, having that much, like being that much of a social figure, could I know it brings challenges. So
yeah, like you can't shut off the world. That's really what it comes down to. Like you can't shut off the world. The world's always gonna have its eyes on you. But I like how you said it. Chris Evans is Captain America, because that's how people are gonna view him. They don't wanna cast Chris Evans. They want to cast the man that played Captain America, because it's two different people. Chris Evans is this guy who he already said he wanted to act less. He doesn't want to act more. He doesn't want to get more roles.
Right.
He already said he won't. But it's like you said, it's a double-edged sword, because in this same exact interview, he did say that he would go back to Marvel if it wasn't a cash grab, if it made sense. So that's the case. That's gonna be more eyes on you. That return film, if you're announced, if you're in a trailer, how many eyes are gonna be on you? How many interviews you're gonna get? How much publicity in general? I mean, like if you're gonna shut out Marvel, shut it out completely. Shut it down completely. You can't be 80-20. You can't be 90-10. 100% shut it down, or 100% be all in, because there's gonna come a time, because they have yet to say that you died, went away, whatever. They have yet to say what happened to Captain America.
Outside of getting old.
Besides getting old, that's the only way.
And especially now with the multiverse stuff and all that,
They're going
really
to bring you back. If you keep that door open, they are going to bring you back. There's always a number on that check that's going to mute all that noise. I guarantee it. And that's just us as human beings. It's nothing against him. That goes for all of them. And that's why I like what Robert Downey Jr. says. Like, basically, I'm just too old. I'm too old to play that. I want to have different roles. I'm ready to do different challenges. And he killed it in Oppenheimer. I mean, literally,
one of the highlights.
He was the best actor in Oppenheimer by far. And that's how I look at a lot of roles that, like, all right, let's say that we have a situation where Chris Evans is offered a role like that in a serious movie, in a serious tone. Like Robert Downey Jr. said, like, Marvel changed the way I acted. You know what I'm saying? It was like he was saying, like, sorry, he would say sarcastic shit as his character. I'm like, he might, because you don't know. Like, might have to take more than 10 takes, more than 20 takes, because he's not used to acting that style. This is like his first big movie.
Did you see what Nolan was talking about with Robert Downey about when he was acting? He's like, you really have to unlearn acting.
Yeah, you have to literally start from square one.
It was really interesting, and it's interesting because like Chris Evans has been able to do other things, but you think back in the day, like Christopher Reeve, like this first Superman, it was so hard for him to do other things. Back in that, when I was a kid, like you were only Superman, you couldn't do anything else, and Hollywood wouldn't even cast you in other things. So he had to go like really far out of his comfort zone and do projects that were pretty good, but no one would take him seriously because he was a Superman. The actors nowadays, and actors and actresses, can break out of that. But the funny thing about it is, based on where some of the challenges Marvel has, do you guys think like bringing Captain America back would save it?
I don't think they'll even bring him back during this tournament thing. I think they won't probably bring him back until they do the whole big event that's probably going to end the MCU as we know it right now. With Secret Wars, I think that's the last one. I can't see them bringing him back before that.
Yeah,
because that's going to be their big cameo thing where they could bring in all these Fox actors and all the actors from. They could bring back Tobey Maguire and they could bring back Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider and Ben Affleck's Daredevil. They could do all that in that movie. I don't see them doing it before that. I don't think they're that desperate yet. They're still making money even with the lack of quality.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that quality, they got to build something that they can sustain. They can't just keep bringing nostalgia back and like it's only so many times it's gonna hit. It's only so many times it's gonna hit.
The way I look at it is, just to add to what y'all was saying, like it's a time to bring him back if they were. Like he left the door open clearly. Like that's literally what he did. But the way I'm looking at it is that they did the character of Captain America a disservice by he picked Falcon to be the next Captain America. He did not pick the next leader of the Avengers. And that's what we're really lacking. There is no Avengers anymore. So if we're gonna have the next Avengers,
Well, I mean, they basically said the
I
Doctor-
feel like he needs to be the one that picks the right guy because, like you said, like it was gonna be Doctor Strange. It doesn't make sense for Doctor Strange's character from what we've seen for him to be a
No,
leader
for sure. No,
of
I
the
get it.
entire
Of these-
Avengers.
these
He could be the most
kids.
powerful, just like Captain America wasn't the most powerful, but he was the leader. He knew what to say. He knew what to
He knew how to
do.
inspire him.
Mm-hmm.
And they all younger. All these new up and coming superheroes is younger. So like he's like 40-year-old man. Kate Bishop is in college. Like it's just like the maturity levels is different. All that stuff. So like if us three really wanted to, we can go to the MCU right now. We could do whatever we want. Like nobody's gonna stop us. Nobody's gonna stop us.
They need to hurry up and get all these characters that they brought into TV shows and movies and stuff and get them on screen again.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
Shang-Chi, I
killing
haven't
them.
seen him like forever. I mean, I was seeing his.
You ain't gonna see Shang-Chi again until.
Get him
Yeah,
on
I don't.
screen.
I don't know if we're gonna see Shang-Chi again. Like
But get
somebody
all
can
these
tell me.
guys on screen though. Like before you'd see them and then there'd be a cameo or there'd be a thing. Now it's like like Moon Knight. We see him, which I loved.
We're not
and then
seeing him
it's
until 2030,
well,
man.
I didn't even
Yeah.
know when that was. I forgot when that was. It's like I forgot more.
It's just gonna suck because they're really, like I said, they're gonna force all these characters into that big Avengers movie. Those two Avengers movies they're gonna bring all these characters back. You're gonna be expected to remember them all, what they did, where they're from, who they are.
Their motives, everything.
And,
Yeah, you're gonna
and their
be-
chemistry got to be good too.
Yeah,
Like
that's just what it is, man. They're gonna make it another Infinity War Endgame style event, make it super big, and then just hope that the ensemble makes you happy.
But the thing is, they can't even do that because Infinity War, it was a shocker. Like this is one of the first movies where superheroes
No,
lose.
well, no, for
I
sure.
expect them to lose. Now,
Yeah.
like they're trash. Like they're really trash. Like we have nobody.
There's nobody on their
Earth.
side that I think.
Yeah.
That look like
Nobody
number
on Earth.
4 team. That
Like,
look like a
yo.
number 4 team. That's what it looked like.
Like we're trash. You can't Infinity War Endgame this. Like we're trash. We're gonna lose the first time. We're gonna lose the second time. We're not gonna win.
Third
Like,
time, not to try and lose
yo,
again.
You're gonna have to bring back all the old Avengers. That's what you're gonna have
You're
to
not
do.
you're not excited for Hulk's kid.
No, I'm not.
No, his
It's
dad
I
sucked.
can't tell you who
His
I'm
sister
excited for.
sucked. They all suck. His cousin sucked. The whole Hulk answers is trash. All the Hulks suck. Like I'm not excited for his son. His dad sucked. Like what do you want
Got
me
his
to say?
DNA thing.
Yo,
All
his
bad.
dad hasn't been angry since the first movie, bro. Like your whole power is being angry. You haven't been angry since the first movie. Like,
Yeah, they kind of killed Mark Ruffalo with that, but and to even like kind of branch off that, a big thing too with like this Chris Evans interview is it's about your picking your roles too, man. Chris Evans has not picked a good role since he left Marvel, I'm
And
being
that's the
totally
thing I was
honest.
about to say. I'm like you see like Valentina, I forgot her name, Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
She was in Oppenheimer, and she's clearly going to be a star in Hollywood now.
It was-
Not because of Black Widow, because she's trying to get other roles while she's in it. He dedicated 6 straight years to Captain America on his own
Longer.
willing.
That was 2011.
That's even
eight
farther.
straight
That's
years.
your fault. You got to take other roles. You
Well,
got
and
to be able
Florence
to.
Pugh was already in Midsummer, which was a big A24 film and all that. She already had some acting credits. She was in a couple
Exactly.
other smaller things, but like I said, it's just about branching out. Like I said, and having a good agent. Chris Evans, Tom Holland's the same way. I haven't seen a Tom Holland
Good.
project that I like outside of Spider-Man.
And
Like,
if
I-
we being
I don't
honest,
like
there's
any of
only
his TV
one and a
shows.
half good ones.
Yeah, I didn't like Uncharted. I don't like anything that he's done outside of Spider-Man whatsoever. It's about your agents too, man. Like you just have to pick good projects. I think like Chris Evans' biggest thing since then was was it the Gray Man or
Yeah,
whatever?
the Gray Man with.
And it was horrible.
What's his name? Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
Wasn't it? Yeah.
and I didn't care for it. So it's like it's just I know he's like on a show on Apple TV with like Ana de Armas, but he just I don't know.
and Tom Holland said he don't want to be 30 years old playing Spider-Man. But you're not gonna have no choice. Like,
Yeah, the way you're
You're
picking
gonna be
roles.
Spider-Man as long as we want you to be Spider-Man. He's gonna accept
you
that
have to lock
money.
in.
every time.
Like,
And so I think to branch off of that, because we do have some superhero stuff coming up. Obviously, we're talking Marvel, so we're going to go into a bit more of a darker territory with superheroes, and that's The Boys. Gen V comes out next Thursday,
Yep.
the 28th, and that's really exciting. I know Jules has watched some of it. I don't think he's fully caught up yet.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've
stuck
watched
in
it.
season 2.
No, The Boys is probably behind Winning Time this year. Is probably or the Gen V is probably my most anticipated show behind Winning Time was this part of the year. Because I'm a big fan of The Boys in the show itself. I love the universe, and this is all going to tie in. I hate expanded universes and all that. It probably doesn't need to be done. I don't know how much they're going to do with spinoffs in this universe, especially, but I'm really excited. It's basically just going to be like, in this universe, It's run by Vought. It's basically what superheroes would be like, quote unquote, if they were real. I mean, that's basically the whole gist of The Boys. Not that all of them would be this evil or as bad as some of them are. Not all of them are evil, but the show literally starts off with a guy that's basically the Flash running through somebody, at Mach speed. You know what I'm saying? The lady turns her into mist. So I mean, you kind of get what you're getting automatically as soon as you start the show. But Gen V is basically just about these kids in college. At this point, the Seven, which is like the Avengers of this universe, they're missing like 3 members.
I was like, they're down to 4.
Yeah, pretty sure it's the Deep, it is Homelander, it is Queen May. Well, no, actually, I don't even know because a lot of those characters left at the end of last season, so I don't even know. But it's the Deep, Homelander.
Star.
No, but she's not a part of them either. Well, no, she actually might have stayed with them to be like the inside man, I guess maybe. And then there's somebody else because a couple characters left or died last season. But it's just basically about, these kids are going to college and they all have powers because this company known as Vought basically was injecting kids with something called Compound V, which gave them powers. They aren't born with powers like in Marvel, how some of them are.
Fabricated.
Yeah, they're literally made up superheroes. They're created in a lab. And it's just going to be about it's basically a competition thing, but there's something much darker going on. And it's going to tie in really heavily to The Boys. So I'm really excited to see how they're going to do that. I know the Deep is meant to come back. Ashley, who's like the CEO of Vought, is made to come back, and we'll see what happens because I know they said they're really trying to make it. This is happening concurrently with the end of season 3, which the end of season 3 shows you Homelander ends up with his son. He literally kills somebody in public, and nobody gets mad about it. Kills a guy in broad daylight, and people cheer him on. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
The darker tone with The Boys and whatnot, I feel like it opens up what superhero movie shows and content in general can be. I mean, there is a lot of gore and a lot of
it can be gratuitous at
yeah,
times.
it could be a little much, but in terms of like the realistic side, like I like the fact that a superhero realistically, like I said, if I was a superhero, like there's nobody that could stop me from doing what I'm doing, like realistically, and you're gonna need my help when things go left, so you're gonna obviously side with me. Who are you to be like, oh, why'd you do that? You can't stop me. And I remember the scene when he was on the plane and Queen Maeve, she's saying like, are we gonna save him? I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean we're gonna save him? We can't. Realistically, we can't. And he knows that. He's not gonna put himself at jeopardy for that.
And it's funny because they kind of use like the whole Superman thing. I forget what Superman it is, but Superman flies outside of a plane to catch a plane. And one of the movies, I forget what I want to say it's the Brandon Ross Superman. I don't even think it was the Christopher Reeves one. And he stops a plane from crashing, and they basically tell Homelander to do that same thing.
Yeah, he like flies into the plane.
he doesn't. He
does more damage.
He can't. Well, no, he can't even do it because like they said, like he has no way to plant his strength. Oh, he can't just lift the plane with his arms and be like, oh, here, I'm strong. He has nowhere to plant. So he can't just like fly out there and lift the plane up. So I mean that's a really dark scene. That's probably like the first scene that really lets you know what Homelander's like. There's a couple smaller ones early on. Like one of my favorite scenes in the whole show is actually at the end of episode 1 in the first season. There's a guy from Baltimore. It's the mayor of Baltimore, and he's there with Vought because Vought sells superheroes too. So he wants to buy basically The Boys' Black Panther to come defend Baltimore, and he wants to only pay $330 million. They want $400 million. And, he's like, oh, we'll be in touch. He basically blackmails her, says, hey, I know about Compound V, which, like I said, is a thing that at this time nobody knows the superheroes are made in a lab. And so Homelander, because he's basically this Superman in this universe, super hearing, hears it. So the mayor and his son and his people are on their private jet flying back to Baltimore, and all you see is outside the window, Homelander's following them. And then he stops in the middle of the air and lasers their jet out the sky. And kills them, so he kills a kid, he kills the mayor, kills a bunch of people with no repercussions because he wants to protect Vought and, what they stand for, which really sets a tone and shows you that this is not your average superhero movie or TV show because you don't expect this guy who, in the media, in the way that he's presented is like, oh, this guy's awesome. He's a great hero, good person. He's not. He's a total psychopath.
Yeah. And it's always good to get younger characters. Like I said, like I guess it's like world building at the same time, but it's like expanding, like you said, like it expands a little bit. But I don't mind it if it's done right. And from the looks of it, it's like it's gonna be done right. Like the darker tone is carried over correctly. Then we're gonna have a storyline where you see people being people. Realistically, people are who they are. They do inhumane stuff where they probably should consider somebody else, but they're not. It's a competition when people get like all that testosterone and all these hormones coming together, head on collision. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Somebody's gonna die. Somebody's, you know what I'm saying? Like morals gonna be compromised. All this stuff, and somebody that's probably like super good, super righteous is probably gonna turn to the dark side. Understand that this
Well,
is
it's what's cool about it is if you think of like Watchmen and Invincible, and then you
Yeah.
think of The Boys. What I like about The Boys more than some of the others is that, to me, it's the one that seems the most like plausible.
Yeah, that's
Like
the,
Watchmen's a little far out there. Invincible's still anime in some ways. I like Invincible, but I love the politics and the like.
let's say
That
that's
they got
another thing.
agents and that they do the fake movies and they do fake like
Yeah,
like, the
ads and
companies
whatnot.
set up like fake situations for them.
It feels real. Like I said, it
Yeah.
feels like I said, like they're not even like they're a product. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
just a product of entertainment in that world. They're not even heroes. Like, the Avengers don't get commercials. The Avengers aren't shooting movies and making their own movies in their universes. Like they're just heroes. And then
Well,
this
they,
one,
like,
like, they're,
what's the one movie was like, well, we don't get paid. What movies? Is one of the Marvel movies they say that like, we don't get paid. Like I forget which Marvel.
oh,
movie.
I feel like I know.
I think it was an
There's
Avengers.
a,
It might
there's a
have been-
reference in one of the
Yeah, I
movies.
think it was an
Like,
Avengers
it
movie.
doesn't really work that way.
No, yeah, like we're just superheroes. Like,
And that's
just
what
do
I
it.
liked so much about like Falcon Winter Soldier was that like he couldn't get a loan. He saved the friggin' world, and then a bank wouldn't give him a loan.
Yeah,
Like I love that show a lot because
That was one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
that's one of my
I swear.
favorite ones.
Yeah, I like that a lot because I felt like that seemed like real to me. Like that would happen. Well, you saved the world, and can I get your autograph? But like, you don't have commodity.
yeah.
Credit
so-
score is a 2, bro. Like you
So
supposed to
you
say
can't
the
help it,
world.
man.
You've got your credit card payments.
No, but I'm,
You 16
I'm
months
worried like that you said. Because my son likes The Boys a lot, and we're worried about this like that we have to like. I want the show. I want Billy. I want those guys. I want Mother's Milk. I want those guys. Like I love the show for those guys.
Yeah.
More than even the superheroes on that show. So I'm gonna be missing.
And like, and I'm hoping that, like I said, this does tie into season 4. Season 3 was such a good season. You got the introduction of Soldier Boy, which is like Captain America in their universe, and Jensen Ackles played him really, really well. You find out that he's the reason Homelander even exists because he's basically Homelander's dad. They took his DNA to make Homelander. You get some really, really cool scenes with them fighting, and like at this point, Homelander's pretty much psychotic. I thought Anthony Starr should win an award for his acting in season 3 because you really start to see now that Homelander's a very, very deep character. He's not just evil Superman. I think, which a lot of people label him as that. And I mean, honestly, I'm also really growing on A-Train because A-Train's kind of in a redemption arc in season 3, where he inadvertently basically gets his brother paralyzed. And so seeing that how he works to it, he's got a bad heart because he took the compound V because you could use it as a drug too.
Yeah, it's like they have an
You
injection.
literally inject it, and so it's basically like superhero heroin.
It keeps you strong, I guess, more than anything.
And basically, he takes it to there was Shockwave, which was the other quick hero, and he beat Shockwave like basically blows him out the water in a race because he took compound V.
Yeah, I remember I was in the
beforehand.
first season, right?
Yeah, so and you see A-Train get his revenge on the guy that hurt his brother in this one, which was crazy because at this point A-Train doesn't run because if he does, he'll kill himself basically. And so he basically beats this guy up and grabs him while he's on the ground and runs as fast as he can. He's dragging this dude at 800 miles per hour and kills him. And he passes out. And it's a really cool scene to see because they said A-Train hasn't ran in like 2.5 seasons at that point, or season and a half. And but it's dark. He kills this other hero, and Vought, to cover it up, gives him the guy he killed's heart, so he could be a superhero again. Because A-Train's heart was messed up, so
I got a tune back. I always say I got a tune back in.
yeah, bro. Like I said, like he literally killed this other superhero, and to cover it up, they made it seem like he died in an explosion, and they gave A-Train his heart so A-Train could be a superhero again. Because like I said, A-Train wasn't a superhero at this point because he couldn't run, and that's his only power is super
They do
speed.
the propaganda on the show. The propaganda stuff that they do on the show.
Yeah,
is just great.
it's really big in
It's
season
so
3.
good.
Like
You're
they really push Homelanders. Like I said, like in the first season, Homelander's trying to get the superheroes in the army and all that. That's like a big part of it. And obviously people don't want to do that. And then like they create fake terrorists.
Yeah.
They're giving the compound V out to Al
But
Qaeda
even
or
like
whatever.
the fake reality show, like you can be one of the
Yeah,
7,
you know what I'm
and,
saying?
like
Like-
all that, and then like the small towns have like the crappy superheroes.
Yeah,
like,
they got the ones we
like-
care about.
right, like the bigger cities get the big ones. It's like basketball. It's like it's literally like,
It's like- it's like-
I want to play with my friends in the big city.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I
want-
don't-
it's all about
I
the
don't
big
wanna be on
market.
the Kansas team.
Right.
It's great. It's so good.
No, yeah, but I'm really excited. I know in season 4 is gonna be really cool. I know like we're getting Tech Knight, which is basically Batman and Iron Man and the boys. He's gonna be in Gen V, which is really, really big. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, another huge actor. He was Negan on The Walking Dead. He's gonna be in season 4 as well. So I mean, they keep adding really big names, and they're expanding the universe one by one. So I can't wait to see what the finished product's gonna look like.
Yeah, Amazon's killing it right now. I'll be honest.
They are. They put out a lot of really good
They're
shows.
starting to be one of the top streaming services for the fact that they bring in some of the newest movies, and they got obviously Thursday Night Football. Like it's obviously because they got this money. Like they blink and they can spend $100 million and be fine with it because they're gonna make $200 million.
Right.
And they're still pretty cheap compared to.
Yeah, it's only $15 a month.
Yeah,
it's really
like,
not bad.
cheap Netflix don't. I'm not watching.
Netflix like
I'm not watching no
$21
football on
a
Netflix.
month,
Like I ain't watching nothing live. I'm not seeing no new movies come out. I'm seeing the movies that nobody cared about it. They make no money come to Netflix. Yeah, you got random 2002 movie pop up that just came out. Like that came out 3 times in 2020. Like come on now. But that's about it for today, man. First live episode. Got anything to close the show with, Damon? Your third outro.
It's gonna be more of a serious one for real, y'all. For real. You know, last week was like a really good quote. Like you really gotta think about it.
Really good at what?
It was good. Like you gotta think about it. Like life. You know what I mean? The life give you lemons. Make lemonade. But like you don't need to make lemonade. You know what I mean?
Make a mixed juice.
You know what I mean?
Apples, oranges, and lemons.
But I will say, speaking on the Chris Evans thing, mental health matters. No matter man, woman, don't matter. Teenager, kid, even mental health matters. Reach out to at least one person. If you don't feel like you can, somebody out there cares. Somebody out there, wants to help you. Somebody wants to, show love and appreciation to you. It's even days I feel like, it's me against the world, but I know that I have a supporting cast. I have people that love me and care about me. So just, don't hold and suppress, that negativity in your life. Open up and get the help that you need and just vent your issues out as much as you can.
Well said, man.
Well said.
Way to improve off of last week.
Let's go.
With that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a virtual show, and we'll see you guys next week.